Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach today. I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB. Super pumped. It's May 13th, 2024, episode 5330. Hope you're doing fantastic as we're rocking and rolling this morning to get you going. A lot going on. Going to be a great week. As always, let's start off with our 7 Ps. Let's make sure we have the proper perspective today as we go out there and live our life, meaning that, it's a new day. Like, it's a new day. It's a new week. We can go out there and make the changes that we want to make or continue down the path that we're getting on, right? Whatever you're working on, but have the right perspective going into it. Set those priorities. What is important? What are you working on? We're in a check month. We're looking at our plan right now. In fact, on the 21st, next week, next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon, we're going to do a lunch and learn to check in on your plan. You can find that up in the meetup area. So we're in a check month, so we should be checking our priorities. What is important? What are you working on? Number 3P is performance. Make sure we're focused on better performance. How are we getting better in the things that we're doing? Number 4 is have patience. Always have patience. Allow things to work, especially this system. Don't give up too early. Show up, put in the time. I get it. You're going to have times when you backslide and things aren't going to go the way you want them to. It's just like everybody's the same. Like, that's what happens. But if you can get that Morning Coach metaphysical morning ritual going, which we'll talk about again, just to remind you, if you're patient with it, this stuff works. It just works. Keep great posture. Get those shoulders back. Important. Stay present. Stay in that moment. That's the time that we have to work with, and then finally persist. Stick with it. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep you going forward in life. And of course, the 7 Ps are part of our metaphysical morning ritual that we do, which is starting out with self-care, making sure that we're, taking care of ourselves, listening to the CoachCast, getting here, listening. Okay, 3 times is good, 4 times is better, 5 times is awesome. If you make it all 7, you are a rock star. Then, of course, we plan our day with our 7 Ps. We organize in our planner. Again, this could be any type of planner that you're using. We have our planner, the Get It Done Now planner, but maybe you're using paper and pencil, maybe you're using a whiteboard. It doesn't matter as long as you're getting things done and you're planning properly, setting those priorities. And then if you are using our planner, though, part of the ritual is to take a picture, send it in to the companion, get some feedback from the companion. And of course, always stop by the community for accountability, questions, and support. That's what it's about. And again, I mentioned next Tuesday, we've got a lunch and learn. Love to have you there. We're going to check in on your plan, see how you're doing, make sure that plan is working for you. This system works, and it is, getting you that energy every single day. That's what it's about. So excited. What do we got going on this week? Well, we're going to talk about you are the mirror. We're going to talk about that reflection into the reality of what is the world today. We got a great one planned today. Tomorrow, we're going to continue on Mike Lee Kanarik's book, Machine of Life. Having fun with that, help with that book. It's just a fun book of a mentor of mine and somebody that's always been involved in what we're doing. So it's great to have Sir involved in going through his book. Wednesday, we are doing the CoachCast on being the leader in life. Okay, this is a big one from leadership perspective. You want to be here. Thursday, Ask JB, how to get past imposter syndrome. I get this question a lot, so we're going to hammer that Thursday. Friday, we've got understanding the needs of others in the family. And I got needs capitalized, so that's going to be a big one. Saturday, of course, we got Dr. Paul continues his series on longevity and aging and other areas that he continues to bring health ideas to. And then Sunday, It's a Wonderful Life, Belief, slowing it down. So we've got a big week planned for you. If you haven't had a chance, make sure you do your weekend review. If you're using our planner, how did it go? How'd your week go? If you did that on Friday, great. Some people do it today. Some people do it on Sunday. Looking at your week, just kind of checking things off. You have that at the end of the week. Really cool thing. And then some of us are doing second brain standard operating procedures, SOPs, clean those up. Now, again, I always mention this, that you don't have to do everything that is involved in the things we're doing. We have people here that have been here 19 years. We just need to make sure you're doing the basics. And then if you want to do some of the more advanced stuff and we get into the ILD world, intelligent life design, fantastic, because it is a great way to live. But just stay with it. Stick with it. Get up in the morning. Set your priorities. And again, we always want to focus on the tasks that we are doing. What are the tasks that are we doing out there on a daily basis? How many boxes did we check off today that are going to get us moving forward? I'm working on my 5K time 2055, and I've really been training hard, and I'm starting to see the results now. We're coming into like almost a month of just dedicated training and working hard, doing fartleks. Yes, that's the name, fartlek. I know it's crazy, but it's a Swedish term, and it's stopping starts, basically. I don't know the exact terminology. I know somebody here at Morning Coach does, but basically you're starting and stopping, you're going slow and fast and slow and fast. It really works on your VO2 max and cardio. Really, really awesome way to train. I'm doing long distances, which I'm not a big fan of, but I'm actually enjoying some of the longer runs. Those are the tasks I'm doing for my health. Not drinking, staying focused on what I need to do a day in and day out is really making a difference in the things that I'm doing in my life. And same with you. What are the tasks? I've broken the YouTube channels up into 5 channels. A lot of work. But as I mentioned a few weeks ago, I said, look, I'm going to dedicate time to that in the blog. Those are my 2 things. I had to eliminate a lot of things on the table because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do a lot of this stuff. And I love it. Kahil Gibran, work is love made visible. But it's a lot of work. So what are those tasks? What are you doing today? When you prioritize and you write your sacred 6, what are you doing today that is moving the ball forward? That's the key thing, okay? Once we do that, now we're good. Now we can start talking about improvement. How can we get better? How can we do that performance enhancement, which is our number 3? Because we talked about it, right? You have the right perspective. Make sure you come out of this, have self-care, do your meditation, whatever you need to do to have the right perspective. Then you set those priorities. Those are the boxes we're going to check. Now we start working on performance. And how are we doing that? Well, we're going to talk about the mirror, right? So when you look at the mirror, there's a reflection that comes back. And that reflection is really what's around you in the world today. And as you go out, a lot of times people are angry or frustrated, or maybe you run into some negative situations. We've got to look at that reflection that you're reflecting out. Is it about you? Now, we don't want to get an imposter syndrome. We don't want to get negative. Like if you're anything like me, you're your own worst critic already, right? I'm the hardest person on myself. I don't need anybody else harder on me because I'm very hard on myself. But when we understand this and we go out there, we can be aware of what we're putting out into the world and what we're putting into our children. That's a scary one because your children are a reflection of you. And if you think about that and your children aren't really getting where they need to do, what are we doing? What can we do to make the change as that reflection is coming out, right? So how do we do that? Well, here's the deal. We've got to change the way that we're going about our own lives. And you're doing it by being here. It's one of the reasons you're here, right? So when we start looking at the reality is, are we happy? Are we productive? Are we doing things that we need to do? Only you can tell that. Only you can tell me that. Like you're the only person. Like there's this facade that's out there, right? And we all have it. We all walk around and live this life. But what is really going on? I can tell you that, the last couple of years as I've been building and changing, I haven't had as much fun as I normally do. I haven't been in the zone like I am now. I haven't been where I needed to be. And how did I get there? I focused on my performance, getting my mind right. So when I'm reflecting positivity in the world, that's what I'm doing. And now I've got people coming up to me all over that are saying, hey, can you support me in these areas? So the idea then is starting to see people differently, including yourself. So that reflection that's going out is really a different reflection. And we need to make some changes. If you're reflecting negativity and anger and frustration, as most people are, that's the way the world it works. I mean, it's just a kind of a negative, flow. I always say it's a desert of negativity, and we want to be the power of positive in that, right? So the idea or concept is this. We've got to change the way we're thinking and what we're doing and really understand ourselves getting on. And being on, but being authentic being on. I'll get into that in a minute. We're going to talk about that this week, specifically Wednesday. But here's what Dr. Wayne Dyer used to say, and I love this. As you know, Dr. Wayne Dyer is one of my mentors. If you don't know who Dr. Wayne is, he's passed away. Just a beautiful human being that went through a lot, was a psychologist that became more of a spiritual guide, and was cool. I learned a lot from Dr. Wayne Dyer. And he always said that, when you squeeze a lemon, and I've mentioned this before, but if you think about it, when you squeeze a lemon, what do you get out of the lemon? What do you get out of it? Well, you get lemon juice. There's nothing else coming out of a lemon. When you squeeze a lemon, there's going to be lemon juice. Well, why Why does lemon juice come out when you squeeze it? Because that's what's inside of it. So when we're out and we're getting anger and we're getting frustration and we're getting all these things, what is going on? Well, let's squeeze ourselves. When we squeeze ourselves, what's going out? What are we reflecting into the world? Are we reflecting peace? Are we reflecting success? Are we reflecting joy? Are we reflecting negativity and anger and frustration because maybe things aren't working the way we want them to? And here's the secret. Most of the time, things aren't going to work the way you want them to. So it's really how you're handling the squeeze. It's so important. Now, there's an aspect of being on. So being on is something like, when I'm in public, you've got to be on. You got to be positive. It's morning coach, JB, you got to be on. And there is an aspect of speaking and bringing energy. But I want to be real too. I want to be authentic. And you'll see that in my social, that I do talk about the negative. I do it here. But when it's going really good, I'm able to be on more. That's why self-care is the first thing in a morning coach metaphysical ritual. Because when you have the energy, you can be on more. Now, I get it. We all turn off sometimes, and that's where you don't want to be around people, and you maybe want to be a little negative, or maybe you want to listen to James Taylor and go be sad for a little while. That's okay. Okay? Life is not linear. I wish it was just let's wind you up and listen to these affirmations and then everything's going to work out perfectly. That's just not the way it is. The way it is that you're going to go out there and you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to fight, but surrender to that fight. But the fight is more in the mentality. It's more of the brain and the things that you're thinking about, the psychology that you have. And once you can overcome things, it's amazing how all of a sudden you start to see things differently and you start to manifest a different life. A good example of that is running. Okay, so, a couple weeks ago I said, you know what? It's so crazy. I always say train for something, and I haven't been training for anything, and my health is not where it needs to be, or was, I should say. I was getting so frustrated with myself. I was like, why am I not doing this? And I said, gosh, well, let's train for a 5K in July. We always talk about it on the Coach Cast. I've done it for years, and I'm not a runner at all. I'm just not, but I go run the 5K. I did 22 minutes. I was proud of myself a few years ago. I was feeling good, and then last year I didn't run. And it's just been, well, let's train for that. So I started training for that, and at the start, it sucked. It's not fun, okay? Some days it's still not fun in the training. And I'm talking training fartleks. I'm talking long distance runs. I'm talking increasing 5K time, VO2 max, strength training that goes with this. This is not working out. This is not exercising. This is training. So I always say train for something because it just changes your health. And in doing that, now what is happening, okay, it's been about a month. Now what is happening is I have become that person. If I don't train, I don't feel good. Like I need to train. Where before, if I trained, I didn't feel good. Like I didn't want to train. Now I want to. And that's the evolution that we're talking about, the reflection, the change. Okay, now the mirror is reflecting this person that's out there running, this person that's getting in shape, this person that's got energy. I changed what I'm putting out to the world. And in that change, the world is giving me more back. You can say God if you want to. Having blessings come in many different ways. And it's because I am changing. Okay? When I look in the mirror, I am different. And I'm being truly authentic because I can be. It's time to be on and off. I'm an introverted person, meaning I need energy away from people. People take my energy. But I'm able to stay on more because I understand these concepts. I teach them and I fall down sometimes. The key is to get back up. That's why we do this 365 days of the year. That's why you're not alone. This is a system that you have somebody with you. I don't care if you leave for 2 months, we're still here. Okay? You might take a break and we're here. And I can't tell you how many people have come back years after later and said, hey, that's what I've missed. And I get frustrated sometimes even with myself. I'm in the mirror and I'm running. I'm thinking, man, what if I had trained for 2 years instead of 1 month? What if I'd have, been listening to that positive stuff? What if I'd have been investing properly? It's all the little things that we consistently do over time that are going to make the big difference. And that's why this is so important. Why us being together, because I'm open your mind to that. Now, you can't feel guilty or frustrated because here's the beautiful thing. As we start this week, the beautiful thing is this, Are you ready? It doesn't matter what happened in the past. The past doesn't equal the future. What matters is what you do today. And what do you need to do today? Start with the Morning Coach Metaphysical Morning Ritual. It's that simple. Slot out the time for self-care. I can't tell you how important that is. Get here and listen to the Coach Cast in the morning. Start your day differently. Plan your day with the 7 Ps. Have the right perspective. Set the priorities and focus on getting better. That improved performance. Have patience with this. Stick with it. Keep great posture. Stay present and persist. Okay? You can do this. And then get in a planner and organize your morning with the Sacred Six. Just do that. You want to take the next steps and take the picture? Great. But let's focus on the basics. If you are not where you are and want to be, or not where you want to be, then we need to make these changes. If you're where you want to be, then let's stay consistent. Don't fall off the path. As soon as we get complacent is when the problems come in. You know, running's a great example because I'm running right now. I'm running. You can start the race at any time. I love my coach. He said, you can start the race at any time. You're 1K in, start the race then. You know, it's amazing. The third quarter of most races is when people slow down. Why? Because they get complacent. They start daydreaming. We must maintain focus. That's going to change your life. And finally, I leave this. I heard this when I was running the other day from my coach. He said, hand the baton off in a better place than where you started. Hand the baton off in a better place than you started. And basically, that's not about running. It's about life. And running in a relay race, you run around, you have the baton. You have to carry a baton. And then you come around, you hand it to the next person. And they run around and hand it to the next person. And there's an old adage, hand the baton off, right? And hand it off in a better position than when you started. We can all do that today just by changing our path, by changing the way we're doing things, by refocusing on the task at hand. And what is that task? The 7 Ps, just self-care and the 7 Ps. It is. Just focus on the task at hand. And as I started, what are those tasks? I don't know. Your tasks are totally different than mine. But let's get some focus. And if you're not focused, next Tuesday, Lunch and Learn at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'd love to have you there. Okay, you can find that in the meetup area. All right, let's get off the week. Let's go do it to it. It's going to be a great week. Let's focus in on the basics, and let's make life awesome, okay? Go live your best life. If you've fallen down, get up. We're here to support you. If you're going great, hey, let's keep going. We're here to support you. Stay with the consistency. All right, I love you. I'll be back tomorrow right here on MorningCoach.com. Go get it. Do it to it. Hey, you made it to the end of our free CoachCast. Thanks so much. Your time is so valuable. You heard about all the wonderful things we're doing. That's part of our Morning Coach program. This is the free Monday. To get the rest, come over and join our coaching program. It's unbelievable. You meet some of the best people in the world, and you get this 7 days of the week. You get the planning systems and the structure and the organization. It is a great time to become a MorningCoach.com member. So what do you got to do? Just head over to MorningCoach.com, click the Join Now button, and we'll see you inside MorningCoach.com. Go have a fabulous week.